So here we go. I got another one here. I think it's the first one I've ever had that's like this, like a standard deck. Bolens push more, but it's got the front wheel drive on it with the smaller 4.5 or whatever horsepower Briggs and Stratton on it. So I mean, overall it's in okay shape. All the cables and stuff work on it. I've just got to figure out how to get these screws to tighten up for us here on the mower. But once I do that and a couple other things, I'll give it a look. The guy said that this mower was low on compression, so I'm gonna investigate that theory. And it's, like I said, it's possible. It is missing that, but I might can find a discharge chute on it. I know I've got a ton of them under the house that maybe can fit it. I got to put a screw in the self-propel mechanism here, or the self-propel cover, so that it doesn't go anywhere. Looking under, obviously the blades, or the deck's got some rust on it, but the blade looks good, just needs a sharpening. Check the oil here. Oil looks to be relatively clean. It is dirty enough to change, but it does have oil in it, so that's a good thing. So I'm going to tidy up the handle bolts here real quick, and I'm going to put a bolt in here for the self-propel cover so it doesn't go anywhere. And air filter's a little dirty, but I'll take it off and clean it if I need to. So yeah, so that's what I'll do. I'll just kind of tighten up the bolts on it, because I know I'll use this deck even if the motor's bad. Tighten up the bolts on it, give this thing a shot, see what she might do. So I just tightened up the loose ends. Got the handle a little bit more firm on it. What I will eventually do is take it off and bend this portion back, because it's flat right now, because that's the reason why it's doing that, and I don't really want to sell it like that. And put a bolt in there so that the self-propel cover is good. Remember, this was the one that the guy said had low compression. It has got enough oil in it to run. It's just a little low, but not low enough to really matter. And so again, the air filter's a little dirty, but not the worst in the world. So I'm going to prime this a few times, and we'll see what we might have. Oh, I'm going to have to get a primer bulb for it though, because it's priming all over the place, but maybe I can get enough in there to get it to run. I broke part of the pull rip handle in the process. Let me grab some starter fluid and see if I can get it cranked that way. So I removed the pull rip cover and the second half to the story of the, if you saw the video on the Bolens there, second half to the story on that is laying right here. So I'll get that out, and this mower ended up not having any spark. I put carb cleaner and stuff in it, And if you look, let me just get this out of my hands here. If you look here, it looks like somebody's been in this, because look how far away the coil is from the flywheel. It's too much of a distance, and when that happens, it's not going to create a spark. So what I'm going to do, I've got a 1/4 inch nut driver. I picked these up a couple weeks ago. They're pretty handy. So it helps me not strip out bolts as easily, but especially on things like coils and stuff. So I'm not even going to take the bolts all the way off. What I'm just going to do, loosen them up here just slightly, and you can use a business card if you want to kind of split the gap, but I just try and get it as close as I can to the mower, to the flywheel, excuse me. I think I might be too close there, but we'll find out. I've got that back. The spark plug is off, so it's not going to crank. Yeah, I got a little too close, so probably need to split the difference there. A little bit harder to do with one hand, but I think I can do it here on camera just to kind of show y'all what I typically do. Okay, so I just want the slightest gap that I can get on them, because business card width is not that much. So, alright, so and it may just barely be scraping, but that might, it's got a little bit of surface rust on the coil, so whatever that little surface rust it's got, it's going to knock off. I'm going to fine tune this just a little bit, but like I said, you can use a business card to gap the coil. It did pinch the wire, but it didn't pinch the wire itself. That's going to be pretty common with those. So like I said, I'm going to fine tune the coil a little bit, and then we'll give this thing another shot. Alright, so I tested out the plug and all that good stuff, grounded it out against the front of the motor and pulled it, and there's spark. So as long as the gas is good in here, this thing should fire up. Let's give it a shot. Self-propel work on it. Just kind of throw it back here in the back. I'll have to look and see. I have to beat out a couple portions of the deck, but be a good cheap self-propelled mower for somebody. So let it run. service this and clean it up as well. So the self-propel, when I was testing it out, it was engaging, but it wasn't pulling. And so what actually happened was there's this screw here. I think it used to be like a little rubber grommet or something. And they've got a nut on the bottom of it. Well, this screw was actually backed out, so this mechanism was kind of sitting down and giving the belt some lag. And I'll show y'all when I do a final start on this. But the cord is a little frayed here, just from where it has been sagging, but the cord still works and whatnot. But it wasn't pulling, it was turning the wheels, wasn't pulling. I've raised this up to give the belt some more tension on it and just started it up, and it's self-propels pulling like it's supposed to now, so that's good. I'm going to put the cover back on it and service this thing, and kind of work on the handle a little bit too. Should have a halfway decent self-propel mower here that I thought had low compression, but just turned out that they put the coil a little bit too far away from the flywheel. I love easy fixes. So I got it ready here. Ended up doing a couple things to it. I had another primer bulb. I threw it on because y'all saw when I was priming it, it was like shooting gas out the side. So I put the primer bulb on, and I also put this discharge sheet on, which does work. It is not. It's actually came off of a Murray mower, so I had to do a little bit of work to get it on, but it's on and it's functional. I just had to cut the little part off right there so it didn't catch onto the wheel. I might have to do a little bit more to it, but no, probably not. But I might cut off a little bit more there, just in case somebody cuts their grass down at the dirt level, so that it doesn't hit whenever they use it. So I'll just take off a little bit more right there. I thought I just had one of these under the house and just put it on there because I was just originally gonna leave a cover off of it and just pop it on for $80 and call it a day. But after the mower cleaned up and I put a primer bulb on it and all that good stuff, lubed up the cables and all, y'all saw me fix the front wheel drive self-propel, so self-propel works well. The only blemish on this deck is that it has the crack right there, which in reality doesn't really make much of a difference. It does allow the deck to flex just a little bit more than usual, but that's really the only flaw in it, apart from, you know, faded paint and all that stuff. So I think this mower will pull $100. Things are just a little slow to sell, so because of the hot, dry weather, but I just decided to put a little bit more time into this, give it a little bit more TLC, to make it just a little bit better for whoever buys it. So let's crank it up. Off on But y'all can hear it does run good, and it started up on the first pull, which is always a plus. I have to make sure that the gas tank is off of the engine there, though, which I'm pretty sure that it is. I actually had one come back, wore a hole in the gas tank, but it was out here on the front. I just got really hard ground right here, and so if this thing does vibrate very, very slightly when cutting grass. Not enough to make any difference though. It's just I got this hard dry ground right here, and so any little imperfection is going to show. But you know, not too bad for the age of the mower, and should make somebody a good cheap self-propelled mower. These are pretty foolproof. These smaller Briggs engines are really foolproof, and to get them fixed and keep them going. So, and the self-propel seems to be good too. After I tighten up the cable, so put a little grass chute on it, power bulb, gave it a little bit more love, and got a good self-propelled mower here. Hopefully they'll sell a little bit more after. Hopefully we get a little bit of rain with afternoon storms or whatnot coming up this week. Because I'm fixing them faster than I'm selling them now, so they're starting to stack up. But I'll keep on working on them, because they'll eventually sell. If they don't sell this year, they'll sell next year. So I'll post the next one here pretty soon. Thank y'all for watching.